program. Just look at these results. In just 90 days, these 12 Slob 90X DVDs will put you on a program to weaken those bulbous shoulders and build a thick wall of fat around your midsection.
SLOB stands for slow, lazy, ordinary body. In just 90 days, I can help you become a computer nerd, a party animal, or just a plain old lovable slob.
Right, welcome to Lunch Therapy. This is Joel Marshall. I'm your host for this show that happens every Friday at noon. We have a live guest most Fridays. Today is no exception. We have Ricky Hollywood, who is an amazing comedian and also a podcaster and a correspondent for the NFL and a Rams fan. For all you Lunch Therapy Seahawks fans out there, we're going to have I don't know, showdown maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Kamala Lopez is here. Holy, so excited. Yeah, me too. I'm totally excited. Kamala, thank you for recommending Ricky. Ricky, she saw Ricky's show at the Belly Room, the Comedy Store the other night, I guess about a week ago. I think it was Pretty Funny Women. I'm not sure. Ginny Sykes is here. She is phenomenal. Yes. And Kamala says, I know she was my favorite from that night at the Comedy Store. Don't tell, I don't know who else was in that. Alyssa Phillips. Don't tell her. Don't tell her because she's going to be pissed. I hope she's in the chat room or she watches this show. Todd Lee says, get slobby. Yeah, Slob 90X. We want to say thank you to our sponsor, Slob 90X, slow, lazy, ordinary body. If you're looking to be more cuddly, look no further. Slob 90X. Are you going to do the big show from San Diego next Friday? That's a good question. I am going down to San Diego next weekend with those folks. Also, let's get into the show because I can't just sit here and jabber. We got to get our guest on the show. This is Lunch Therapy. I'm going to get myself a modem. 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 All right, I want to say thank you to all the Patreons. These kind of shows can't really happen without some kind of funding. So thank you to everybody, Howard Aronin, Mike Knox, Todd Lee. Todd Lee says, Ricky, don't lose my number. Little reference there to a bygone song. No, it's still around. Still around. Beautiful song. Robert Lopez, Jay Patterson, Ivy Palma, Pam Palmieri. We got all the palms in the palm of our hands. Neil Phillips, Seth Word, Jason Edelman, Mary Marks. Just go over to patreon.com, sign up. You know, you could even sign up and say, I'm not going to pay you anything, Marshall. You don't deserve my money. Or you could go over there and just say, hey, it's time for me to like fully fund this thing and get it on, one of these streaming services. So I'm going to put, $5 million in, something like that. Whatever you want, any amount, patreon.com/Joel Marshall. Another shameless plug is I'm doing Guys Night. Guys Night, May 18th. We had Guy Reuven on the show. It's a fun show. He's super fun. It's at the Haha Comedy Club on in the Valley on May 18th. For those of you, 8:45. I'm going to be coming back from San Diego and lighten up the stage. So get on over there. There's a link in the show notes. Now it's time to breathe. This show is moving along. On the show, we always breathe. Ginny Sykes just texted me, and I wanted to let you know, if you're a comedian out there and you want to promote your shows, I'm willing to do that on this show, especially on Fridays, because it's Interview Friday, and so you get the lunch therapy bump. Ginny Sykes says, if you announce shows today, I'm at the Ice House Saturday, May 9th at 9 p.m. Mob Comics. I don't know if you've seen the poster for that, but it looks insane. And then she's at the Improv Sunday at 7 on Keita Mascaro's Behind the Lines show. So Ginny's been lighting up the stage lately. And I've got a lot going on here. Who's this? Jose, good vibes. Especially the rabbits. Interesting. Very interesting. I better breathe, because I need it. Here we go. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. You can go over to Ginny Sykes. I don't know. Is it jinnysykes.com to see get the tickets? Tell us, Ginny. Let us know. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Jose says, Mob Comics. Are we going to do some crimes? It could be. I don't know. Maybe the comedians just take everybody out to do crimes, and they find it hilarious because they're sickos. I don't know. Ginny Sykes says, Facebook, Instagram. Look up Ginny Sykes. She'll be the one holding the skull. Yep. One more time. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. And let it go. Healing vibrations are behind me. Vibrating your vibrations. I don't know. Your kundalini. Who knows? Who knows what they're doing, but it's good for you. It's good for you to breathe. Let's get into this interview. Okay. On this episode of Lunch Therapy, I have the the pleasure of speaking with Erica Tamposi, also known professionally as Ricky Hollywood. She is a respected writer, producer, and podcast host whose work spans both comedy and sports media. With a distinct voice and a sharp comedic sensibility, Ricky has become a standout presence through her roles at the NFL Network and as host of the Broadcast Podcast and Ricky's Ram Jam. For those of you that want to defect from the Seahawks to the Rams, I'm thinking about being Raider Nation this year. I don't know about y'all. Her ability to blend humor with insight has earned her a loyal following and a reputation for delivering smart, engaging content across a variety of platforms. She is also a comedian that has been seen at the world-famous Comedy Store just recently and many other Hollywood venues where her casual, confident delivery and relaxed, fun crowd work is a strong start to a great career in comedy. That's what I said. This is going to be an interesting discussion because we haven't had a lot of podcasters on the show, and maybe we can get some advice on what to do because this show is going off the rails. Let's see what Todd says. How should I feel about having Cooper Kupp as a Hawk? We're going to ask her that. We're going to ask her that for sure. All right, let's get into this thing. It's called Interview Friday. Here comes the testosterone-driven introduction.
Are you guys dating? Yeah. Okay, cool. Are you guys dating too? Yeah, all four. Okay. You guys, kids these days are wild. They're insane. I would love. Let's talk after. I want to know how it works. We'll talk 3, 1. I mean, just this is crazy. This is f***ing me up right now. It's his birthday. Are you his dad? No. Because you're giving me a lot of like, it's his birthday, it's his birthday, it's his birthday. But like, who are you? You're his mom. Oh, stepdaddy's at your birthday, huh? We got a little stepdaddy birthday? Are you a stepdaddy or like a stepdaddy? You know what I mean? Okay. Hey, mama, I see what you're doing. All right. Woo, this is awesome. And who the f are you guys? Just in the middle? Friends. With the stepdaddy or the foursome?
Right. Yay. Welcome to Lunch Therapy, Ricky Hollywood.
Thank you. What an amazing intro. I feel so calm and relaxed, and my vibrations are high.
That is the goal of Lunch Therapy. The beginning part is to relax everybody, get us all. When I started the show, I was a little bit like keyed up, which maybe I still am, but I was like, I got to breathe. We got to breathe. So we've been doing it ever since. And I really value that, like when I'm about to go on stage or something like that, to really just take a few deep breaths, because it just changes everything. It's better than,
really does.
Better than Prozac or whatever people
take.
Maybe not.
Depends.
So I'm so glad to have you on the show. Was the show that Kamala saw you in, was that Pretty Funny Women?
It was.
It was Lisa Sunset's show?
Yeah. It was a great lineup that night too. The show was sold out. They were turning away people at the door, which always is great to hear. And yeah, there were a lot of pretty funny women. There really were.
There are. They're not even pretty funny. They're really funny.
Exactly.
So you came out to Hollywood and you decided to take the name of Hollywood. That's pretty bold of you. You took the name of the city, right? And
I was like,
what the hell? What's going on with that?
Well, I figured the sign was already built.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You already had advertising.
So, right. Like, it's easy. No, it's kind of a funny story. So I'm from New Hampshire, like small town vibes, obviously. And I was working as a waitress in high school, after school and on weekends. And there were some Brazilian chefs there. And they would tell me, they would be like, Erica, it's too hard to like not roll our R's. We're just gonna, like, instead of Erica, we're just gonna call you Ricky, because it was easier and faster for them to say like the food was up when it was ready.
Yeah.
So that was where Ricky was born. And so like only at work I started to be called Ricky, like just in the kitchens and like with coworkers. And then my friends and family were like, oh, you're gonna go to Hollywood one day, like teasing me. And I was like, I'll show them.
That's hilarious.
That's where I was born. Yeah.
Todd Lee says we call it a table attendant now. We don't call it a waitress.
Oh,
that's table attendant.
Server attendant. Okay. Todd, thanks for the good looks.
It's a good idea. Thanks, Todd. I appreciate that. So you just took their advice and you're like, I'm going to go out to Hollywood. I'm going to do it.
I always knew. I used to work in film and TV and always knew I wanted to be in that sort of space. And so I knew as soon as I graduated college, even pre-college, I took my like senior year spring break to come out and look at apartments out in LA.
Even in New Hampshire, you were working for the film industry?
Yeah, I started with like ESPN or some like film. I did the movie Sex Tape with Cameron Diaz and Jason Segel, just as like PA work whenever productions would come through the New England area. And then just moved to LA as soon as I graduated college. So been out here 11 years.
Wow.
11 years.
How did did you work in the film industry when you came out here, or how did you end up at the NFL?
Yes. So when I first moved out here, I was working as a PA on a couple different shoots. And then my first job was on Justified on FX. And it was a post-production coordinator, or a PA even. So I'm just like getting coffees and picking up hard drives. And then, which was awesome to learn the city because I was just in my car 24/7 to like go to different things to pick up things. So I like learned all the, just in my car for months is what it felt like.
Yeah.
And then I did Mr. Robot season 1,
Oh,
which was
cool.
really cool. Really cool. Shout out Sam Esmail, the creator of that show. He's
Yeah.
awesome. That was
Genius.
amazing.
Genius.
Yeah. And then kind of bounced around on some other TV shows. I did Drunk History.
Drunk History, really? Do they really get drunk on Drunk History?
Yes.
Really? They do?
Yes.
What is that like? They just start pounding and then they're like, okay, now tell us about this topic.
So I hope Derek Waters isn't watching and don't come after me for sharing secrets.
Yeah.
But essentially he will go to a place, right? And have the comedian, there's story editors, there's researchers, the writers, like all this type of thing. So they'll basically give you the story info. Like this is the story.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have you have a drink and then just like one,
mm-hmm.
and then tell the story straight through. And then they wait a little bit, you have another drink or take a shot or do whatever. And then you tell the story again. So sometimes when you're watching, you'll notice like in the middle of them being really drunk, all of a sudden there's like a really coherent sort of sentence. But they end up going through the story like 3 or 4 times, like different iterations, and they're getting drunker and drunker like as the time goes on. And so it was really fun to go through that footage.
Did you ever have any times where people just got too drunk and they were like, this is a problem?
Definitely.
This is a problem.
Definitely.
Thank God it wasn't live.
Oh my God, I know. I can't even imagine. It's like it was a whole thing, and it was really fun to shoot it, like the actual like reenactment parts of it, playing it over the loudspeaker, and it was like the original TikTok. People were kind of like just mouthing things, but that Derek let me be in an episode once, but I wasn't SAG, so I didn't have any lines, but I was like next to him digging up bones at one point, which was really fun. Yeah, I loved it.
Kamala said, "What did you study in college?"
Yeah, so I went to the University of New Hampshire and I studied communications and film, and we didn't really have a film program. We had like a film theory program. So what I did is like really kind of buddied up with my professor, and that's sort of how because I was like, I just want to make movies and learn about the actual production side of it, but UNH didn't really have that. So anytime like an MTV shoot was shooting some reality thing in the Northeast, like they would go to these colleges to get free work, and they'd be like, well, we don't really have a film program, but here's Ricky. So like I got all this experience on all these different TV shows and film, like from that aspect of things. So it ended up working out kind of well, unless I was at like a real film program in like, Emerson and Boston or something like that. So it had its advantages to like not really existing.
So you ended up learning post-production, right? I mean, you did a lot of post-production work when you got here.
Yeah, so I just like was always making music videos and sketches and things on my own pretty young, even in early high school. And so kind of as time went on, I just happened to get my first PA job in post-production. And so that's just kind of like how I moved up as time went on. But I've always wanted to be on the more creative side of things. So would, do my comedy on the side, would edit things, host podcasts. And now it's kind of helped me to get to NFL Network and then beyond, because I was like, hey, I'm also a producer, but I can edit my own things. I can shoot and direct and edit and get it to a point where I can go public, without hiring 4 different people. So
well, that's the thing, is you end up learning a lot when you're doing that kind of stuff. When did you start doing comedy?
So I've been in the comedy world for a while. I produced Anthony Jeselnik's podcast for about 4 years and was a voice on that as well. And then have always done like comedy sketch humor, like videos. And that's sort of how I like built my following. But the actual stand-up, I would say over the last 2 years, I've like really started to like make it an actual thing where I'm committing a lot more time and taking those sort of leaps.
I like how you work with the audience. It's really organic. I've got another clip here of you working with the audience. I think you're at 3 clubs.
I had like a whole thing I was going to say, but like, you're not even listening to me, but Team Edward or Jacob? Yeah.
I would say Edward.
Yeah, Team Jacob for sure. I mean, spinning image, man.
I know it's man.
Yeah, like my whole set's out the window because I've been looking at you for like an hour. I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's a Twilight episode. What's going on? How is everyone doing tonight? Yeah, tax day. Happy tax day. So you guys like don't make a lot of money, right? Like you all got like a refund? So that's why you guys are here? Yeah, no, same. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. All right, so I'm on the dating apps. Anyone else? That was fake. That's why you guys are all here alone. Yeah, so I'm on the dating apps. But before I get into it, like, does anyone like linger a little bit longer on some of the Uggos photos?
Weird.
Because you don't want the algorithm to know you're kind of f***ed up. I'm like, no. And they just like look over. Could have been a nice person. Nah, no. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want like that type of data to be released, you know?
That's hilarious. Yeah, so have you always worked with the audience? Like sometimes it seems like you just, I mean, maybe it's what you're posting. Maybe you're just posting the crowd work. But do you a lot of times just throw away your set and just go engage?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the room. Like if it's a smaller room, then definitely.
Yeah.
It depends on the room. Like I was at the Ice House. I was at the Ice House a few weeks ago, and that was where that first clip was from. Mm-hmm. And the crowd was just so interactive. I think I got maybe one full joke off compared to like what I'd planned.
Yeah.
And I like love a lot of my jokes, and storytelling is more of my kind of bread and butter, I would say. But there's just something so fun about live comedy is to actually get to, like, I don't know about you, Joel, but like when I'm watching even some of the best comedians of all time on their specials online, like you don't have that same connection or feeling of when you're in a room like that. So to me, first of all, yes, I'm mostly going to only post crowd work because I don't want all my jokes out there unless it's like in a, more of a produced way. So I'm like aiming for that, but also too, like that just really like encapsulates like that feeling of being in a live comedy club theater setting. Like it's the best. Well,
and there's a sense of, there's a kind of danger to it that makes it even more, it like raises the energy a little bit when the person, because you don't know what's going to happen. Does it ever get out of control on you?
It has. I guess it has, but it hasn't. Like I just sort of lean in and like kind of love that. There was one girl, she was 24 years old and her name was Cassette. And I instantly was like, do you even know what that is? Like that was crazy. Funny. And so like I've been, knock on wood, like very lucky to sort of.
She's like, I have a cassette collection or something like that. And you're like, antiques?
Yeah. It's
like
just
that.
Crazy. So, it just depends on who you can get, but I like kind of love someone that like isn't giving me a lot too. Like I kind of like love the challenge and I just want to dive in even deeper than that. So yeah, crowd work is so much fun.
Oh God, that's great. That's great. So, when you went to the NFL, were you already like a huge NFL fan? You're probably a Patriots fan is what I'm guessing.
Yes. Definitely a Patriots fan. And that's just a way of life in Boston. Like one of my best friends has the Boston Red Sox B filled up with the Bruins logo, the Red Sox logo in the B with the Patriots logo overflowing a beer mug tattooed on her ass. So like that is the way of life there. Like you Patriots, Celtics, who aren't looking too good right now in the NBA finals actually, but it's just like a way of life. And so when I was working on a J-Lo show, her World of Dance show in post-production, and those are all gig work. So you'd be on a show for 6 months and then you're out of work again. And so it was one of those like sending everyone I know an email being like, hey, me again, like looking for another job.
Is that how you look for jobs? It's for your friends like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
just especially in the industry, like gig work like that, it would be like, oh, I worked with so and so. Like, hey, I heard you have a new show coming up. If you need this, like, sort of like no one. That's just sort of how it worked back then. It's been a while. And a friend of mine was like, well, this guy that I'm friends with at NFL Network has a position open as a producer, and I was like, I don't really want to make that switch and go to NFL. And it ended up being the best thing that I could have ever done for my career because I had so much creative freedom. I was filming and editing and shooting. And then I got connected with the Around the NFL guys, which was the NFL Network's biggest show at the time. And we just sort of like rode that to, I started making videos that were like kind of going viral on Twitter. And it sort of really kind of catapulted my wise ass Boston personality in sports kind of moniker.
Yeah.
And then the Rams hired me full time to go over for them, which was really cool to do a lot of creative and fun things.
Wow, that's cool. I mean, they have a really robust podcast network there at the NFL. And I used to listen to it when I drove more. I used to listen to Dave Damashek all the time. And
I love Dave.
Really enjoyed him.
The best.
And the Move the Sticks and all that is really great.
Yep.
Here's a clip from you at Rams camp. Play a little bit of this. It's fun.
Day 2 at camp, slept like a rock.
Second day.
How are you?
Doing great. How the s'mores came out? You actually eat this?
Yeah. Are you hungry?
Actually never done camping.
Really?
Yeah.
You want a wiener?
Camping out again?
You got that dog in him.
Oh, I hate scary movies, but scary stories in the wood would be like Slender Man.
Gotta survive out here.
Oh, I know, yeah, it must be tough.
Training camping, you know?
I just saw enough wieners in the locker room.
3 wieners for 3 best friends. No, wait, help, please. I'm so hungry. I don't know.
Oh my God, that's great. So what do you learn working with these people who are very high-level athletes? Does that inspire you to, in your creative work?
No, it makes me feel just horrible about myself. Because the dedication and actual, like, no matter what, every time I'm talking with them, I'll be like, what if you wake up and they're just like crampy? Like you just don't want to go out and perform at that high. Like they're always like, they have these training things on. We're monitoring their heart rate, how much their, explosiveness at practice to kind of gauge what days they go heavier than they don't. Like there's so much sport performance and on every team, and so like no matter what, they're like, yeah, no matter what I feel like, I'm like, what if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Like, don't you like you just have to go and kill yourself at practice all day? Like it just makes me realize like how lazy I really am.
Do you think that this is so cool though, that what you did is you went kind of a post-production route and then also became a performer as well in the process. Do you think that's the way things are going for people now, or that's a really good way for like people that are coming up right now to go?
Yeah, and no, I think everyone is making their own path. And I think I was lucky enough to come up in the time where everyone now is sort of making their own things.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, people, even when I was working in film, they'd be like, just go out there and make a movie, like fundraise and make a movie, which I did. I raised like $15,000 off Kickstarter, made a short film that I thought was going to like change the trajectory of my life. And like, it's on a shelf and I think it's even password protected on YouTube. Like no one can see
no
it.
one can
like,
see it.
It's like
safe.
it is in,
it's safely unseen.
I was like, I'm going to get into Sundance and Scorsese's going to be calling me and all this. It didn't happen, clearly, spoiler alert. So it was just like funny because I don't know, it just, now it almost feels like everyone's making things, they're all their own, which is great. And so it's like, it's great to get that exposure, but you have to work harder to get that exposure, to get eyes on it, as I'm sure you know, with like producing a show and trying to make sure people are actually watching it and want it to succeed. And how do you make it interesting enough that people are gonna want to like keep coming back and watching it? So yeah, it's fine. I like stay up all night and worry about my future, but like it's not a big deal.
Now, you said something somewhere where you said that people shouldn't be so precious about what they put out, as far as things on TikTok or YouTube or shorts and things like that, because a lot of times people hold back because they're like, that's embarrassing. I'm not, and then at the same time you say, I don't want to give away my material. So you're going to show crowd work. What's the balance there? What would you recommend people do? How often do you think people should post if they want to, increase their views and that kind of stuff? Do you have any kind of technical advice on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people that are like, if you really want to grab a following on TikTok or Instagram, you should be posting more TikTok 3 times a day, which is a lot to post. And the good thing about TikTok, though, is it's like all algorithm based. So it's not as annoying that if it's not as annoying on Instagram than if like you're just scrolling and every post was like Ricky Hollywood being like, hey, here I am.
Yeah.
TikTok's a little bit more spread out. But I think what Jose just said is that like shame, like you can't be shameful. You have to just kind of post because, my mom used to say this all the time. She still kind of does. She'll probably change the language a little bit, but she used to say like, you throw enough shit against the wall, like something's gonna stick. And I love that. Shout out Mary. And that's sort of like, I think there's a mix, right? Like I think there's a mix of I am so shameful. That like you want to create great things, and I want to create bits and videos, sketches, podcasts, live comedy. I want it to be engaging and I want people to want to come back, but I also don't want to make that stop me from posting where I'm like sitting there being like, it's not perfect. I didn't edit this the right way. I didn't, like I think sometimes it's just those gut instincts that I'm like, hey, I think this is funny. People might think it's funny. I'm going to post it.
Yeah. Sometimes when you also the things that you don't spend a lot of time on, you put out there and they get a lot more
it's those things that I put like graphics on and like edits and zooms and all that. And it's like 100 views. And then I posted this like viral protein beef bowl that people are making on TikTok. And it was like, haha, I tried it. And it got like 6,000 views in like an hour. And I'm like, what the?
It's funny. Kamala says, tell us about your weird fairy loving book club. That was so interesting. Okay. Tell us about that.
So there are these books currently that are sweeping the nation, and I don't know, I'm sure you're probably not as familiar, but
I'm all over it. I'm always reading books about fairies.
Yeah, the fairy porn industry is absolutely taking off.
So it's like, is it like Interview with a Vampire used to be, like when that came out?
Kind of, but it's these like fantasy stories that all these women are loving. Yeah, so basically I'm in a book club and I am really enjoying it, but these women are loving this fairy porn. So it's like an 800-page book, and it's about this helpless little human female who gets plucked into the fairy world. And they're not fairies like Tinkerbell. They're like 7 feet tall with like large leathery wings out their back, and they wear all leather, and they're hot guys. And like it is just like pages and pages of smut, and it's like 800 pages, but 400 pages of all smut, 200 pages of them reliving the smut, and then like a little bit of plot. But everyone is like, oh my God, I can't put it down. I can't stop reading it. And I'm like, I just think it's so funny. And I was like, this is the best bit ever. So I read like all 8 in the series, as a bit,
Yeah, that's great. Joke. Oh my God. I saw TikTok or something where you had this like huge book, and you were like, it's as big as my head. Was that a fairy book too?
Yeah. That was a fairy book. Yes, that is this month's book. It's called like When the Moon Hatched. I'm like 100 pages in out of the 600. No smut yet. So what are we doing? Like what? Why am I reading this? But my favorite thing about this is some of these girls that are so into this in the book club, they don't get the book finished in time, so they start listening to it on audio.
Yeah.
Right? Like they listen to the audio book, and it's like you pull up at a red light and you look over and there's like these women in these cars are listening to like the most graphic
They're all
porn
sexed up.
scenes. Yeah, and they're just like listening to it super loud over their speakers. Like it is the funniest thing ever.
And then also there's the aspect of how can humans compete with these fairies?
You can't. You can't. I mean, they're like lords, they're kings. They have huge leathery wings that like shiver when you run your finger down them. Like it's just it's the most amazing thing ever. And I hate it and I love it so much. I can't stop.
Get into it. And you are actually in a book club, or are you just making that up?
No, I really am. I really fully am in a book club. I joined and it's amazing because it was a friend of a friend. She had like posted just on Instagram and I was like, I DM'd her and I was like, oh my God, I want to come to the next one.
Yeah.
And I went and it's like the cutest little girls, like they all have their husbands and they're like in sundresses, bringing their like cheese platters and their chocolate covered like pretzels. And like the spread was beautiful. And I'm like sitting around there, like in my baseball hat being like, we're all talking about the same book, right? Like this is so funny that they like they're the cutest, they're the sweetest things. I love them to death. Yeah. But it's just so funny to me that that like dichotomy of like they're all in their sundresses, but they're like staying up late reading fairy porn.
Women can be strange, you know. They like why are they so into like true crime? And you know, like Ginny's into true crime as well. Why are they so into these crime, like violent things where like people kill their spouses or there's serial killers and things like that? Sometimes as men, we're kind of like, wait a minute, isn't this kind of
why do you think men don't like it as much?
I don't know. I wonder that too. Like, why are we not as intrigued in that? I don't know. You'd think we'd be the ones going, oh yeah, I wish I could do that or something, you know, because we're supposedly the violent ones.
I think there is like a little bit of a superiority complex too.
Yeah.
Because when women are watching a lot of this true crime, it's like these guys are so stupid. Like I feel like I could really commit a murder and
doing it all wrong. Yeah, right.
Like they're like, oh yeah, like he bought the phone at a gas station and like kept the burner phone like in his house. It's like these men are they don't know how to kill correctly.
Definitely. They have no idea how to kill. Ginny Sykes says true crime gives men a bad name. Well, yeah, I mean, if you watch enough of that, you're gonna think all of us are like out to kill you. But instead it's just Ricky who's out to kill people and she knows how to do it. So
I do know how to do it. I would be able to cover it up. Clip this off and play it if I am ever on file.
Yeah, right. All right, I'm gonna play another clip here.
For a wife right now, currently, you know, as we are, right, stepdaddy? I got you. We're all looking for a wife, right? And I matched with this girl. Sir, how old are you?
Too old.
Okay.
Too old.
So this sir says too old. You look an alarming amount like my father. Yeah, you would be so lucky, but wait till I finish this joke. And then we'll talk. I'm just gonna face this way because I can't look at my dad right now. He's not my dad, but like, oh my God, I'm having daddy issues right now. So I'm looking for a wife. Okay. What?
That's not me.
Yeah. Like, first of all, you're my dad. Second of all.
Oh yeah. That's great.
Dad, you are kind of my dad. You got to shut the fuck up. You know? All right. Here we go. So.
All right. That was hilarious. Who have been your like mentors and teachers along the way?
Well, I obviously was very, 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 very fortunate to learn under Anthony for a while. And then I have been spending a lot of time with Jen Sturger recently, who's been doing a lot of writing on the weekends, which has been really helpful. And she's been so gracious with a lot of sort of like really helping young female comedians come up, which I think is really cool. Yeah. And, you know, when I look at people I think the clips that we've seen today make me a little bit more raunchy than I think I am and that my parents would like me to be. Yeah, she is. And so, but I think there is a fine line of being edgy, but also being smart. And I think it's a fine line that I really enjoy.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And also, if you're being raunchy, like knowing how to read the crowd, knowing how to still engage with them and not take it someplace where they don't want to go. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I
Exactly.
go to like the Hollywood comedy or something like that, and somebody gets on stage and they're just like, I'm like, I don't want that image in my head, what you just gave me.
Right.
Like you didn't like
Right.
read the room right. So Jen Sturger, I've never heard of her before. Jenny says she's so generous. Does she teach comedy?
She does a writing workshop with this woman named Genesis Soul, who does Witty Titties, which is a really cool mic. And on Tuesday nights they do a workshop. They do a workshop where it's like 3 hours. You get to sometimes it's a little too gross. And like I don't want to be graphic on this show, but also like women talking about their like periods all the time and like things like that. I'm just like, it's not relatable. And even if it is relatable to women, like I don't necessarily want to like laugh and talk about it too as well. Like I do think there's like sort of that line of like, it's unless it's like super, super, super funny, like I just don't really care.
Yeah.
or wanna
Sometimes
hear
people
about it.
just, and this has been happening since the beginning of stand up, but sometimes people
Right.
go for the shock value and they forget about the joke. And then you're just
Right.
like, why am I? And a lot of times, we bring people to these shows and a lot
Right. They're like your friends and family, and then there's someone before you. And the same with the men. It's not just women. It's like,
totally.
okay, you're talking about your junk. Like we've heard this 1,000 times, 1,000 different ways. Like unless your junk is telling me the joke itself, like I don't want to hear it. Like unless you have some trick, some party trick that is
Puppetry
cool.
of the
Other
penis.
than that,
Yeah.
yes.
Something
Other
like
than
that.
save it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's too funny. Kamala is saying this, and this is kind of interesting. She says, I think that women think they have to be
Yes.
disgusting as the dudes in order to be accepted. It might be a response sometimes.
I agree. And I think it goes both ways, right? So there was all these times where like women couldn't even wear pants until the 50s, like they weren't allowed to. And just you think about all of the evolution of that, and then women being on stage being like, you know what, screw you, like I can talk about my period if I think it's funny and I want to say that. So there's a part of me that like, and this is like internalized like fighting with myself, I'm like, okay, good for her, like she can say what she wants. Exactly. So we have had to listen to ball jokes for decades.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, and here I am putting down men again, I don't really mean to come
Don't
off
even.
like this.
Yeah.
But
We'll be
think
okay. We'll be okay.
I also think that like women are very smart too. And so, yes, we can say it, but like find a way to say it in a funnier, smarter way, because we are smarter. No offense, none taken. On behalf of all the men.
None taken. Yeah. Yeah. And also, well, yeah, it's a fine line. Just as we say, is it funny? Is it funny or is it just fatiguing?
Right.
Or is it just,
and also, like you said, the shock factor. Like, yes, we can get a shock, and that's like ultimately what a joke is, a setup and a punch that takes you in a different way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just doesn't do it for me.
I kind of cut you off about the Sturger program.
Yeah.
I want to hear about that just while
so
we're here. Yeah.
Yeah, Witty's Titties is a really cool.
Witty's Titties?
Witty Titties.
Witty Titties.
Yeah, it's an all-female mic and a room, and there's a workshop on Tuesdays where you just go through like a 5-minute, or if you're working on new material, and then all together, all these women sort of, craft it together. Or this was really funny, or I think this, it's like almost like it literally is a workshop.
Mhm.
And it's been really empowering and feeling really cool to not only like have that room of beautiful brains like working together to make, like, even if it's just like, let's move this word let's end on this word instead of that, which is really going to help with the punch. Like it has been really amazing, and I like implore anyone that's in the LA area that's able to get to it on Tuesday nights, it's worth it for sure.
You make a good point. Some of the comedians that especially instructors that I've talked to on the show talk about how important it is to put the actual joke punchline at the
last
very
word.
end. You know, Greg Dean talks about that. A lot of people talk about that, and you're kind of like, really? But it makes a lot of sense. Sometimes it makes a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because it's sort of it's the reveal, and then everything after that is sort of, you know,
right. You don't want to like cover it with laughter or other things
Exactly.
like that. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Okay, I want to talk to you a little bit about the NFL here.
Cool.
Seahawks have Cooper Kupp. Do you think this is a good move? What do you think's going on with this? Todd was
he went
asking
to
about that.
school. He went to school in Washington. He's back home. I think it was really, 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 I think it was really, really sad to see him go. And I think we're all devastated about it. But it, you know, people say all the time the NFL is a business, and that is what it is. And I think he's going to make Seattle better, and it does sting a little bit, but it's also exciting that we're going to have to face him 2 times a year in the division. But yeah, I think Seahawks fans should be stoked.
Seahawks fan. I mean, me as a Seahawks fan, I've been a Seahawks fan since the first. I mean, I went to the first game. That's how long I've been a fan.
It's crazy.
But I don't know what to root for right now, because really, I think lately I've just been a Pete Carroll fan, and now we've got the McDonald's franchise, and I don't know what to think about that. When Coach McDonald came in, he took down the hoop. He took down. You know, they used to have a basketball hoop, and like he took the whole culture and like just, I don't know, maybe took a doge to it. He doged it. And a lot of us were like, had our heart in that, and we'd been through.
So is that why you're thinking Vegas?
That's why I'm thinking Vegas. Well, and they're not even, they're in the AFC, so I guess I could root for both. I mean, it's harder. Living in Los Angeles, I've always been like, I should really root for the home team here, but I have such a problem because they're in the same division, and it's just such a direct. You can't really root for the Rams if you're a Seahawks fan. Just no way.
Totally understand. It's better than being a Niners fan, though. We'll say
it is definitely better than that. Thank God. And what do you think about the Rams? How are they faring up this year?
I think it's gonna be a really awesome year, where they were one drive away from going to the NFC Championship last year, which I really want to say that I think they could have beat the Commanders, and then it would have been another Super Bowl appearance. But shoulda, woulda, coulda have. We don't know. But Matthew Stafford's back. They signed Devontae Adams. You have got Puka, who is just like the cutest soul of all time, and also the greatest football player ever. That defense is stacked. Like if I was a Seahawks fan or a Niners fan,
worried.
Or a Cardinals fan, I'd be worried.
Yeah, I'm a little worried. What do you think? Do you think Pete Carroll can take the Raider Nation somewhere?
You know what? I don't know. I think if anyone could survive in Vegas, it'd probably be Pete Carroll. I don't know if that new stadium is like equipped to, recycle the amount of gum that he chews, but they probably weren't planning for that when they built it. Yeah. But other than that, I think he's going to be good.
What is it like being in that industry? We were just talking about what it's like being a woman in the comedy world, and how sometimes women are like trying to outgross the men.
Right.
Is it tough to be in the NFL world and be a woman?
Yes. Of course, men don't take women as serious. They say they've never played the game. You look at someone like a Mina Kimes on ESPN, who is like the most brilliant football mind of all time and understands the game and schemes better than a lot of the men that played the game. And yet she still, and all these men are saying that, like, that work with her and all this type of thing. But you look at her comments and it's just like, you've never played, you don't know. And it's like, objectively, she knows the game, like, at an insane level.
Yeah.
As an analyst. But then there are these other women that are hired because they're reporters, and they're sideline reporters, and they're in the 6-inch heels and the full dress and all that, which is not me, and it's never going to be me. And so for a while I thought I had to sort of conform to that if I was going to make it in that industry. But then I sort of was like, well, it's football. Like, we're having fun. I want to get to know these guys and make fun, creative content. And like I do online, carve out a presence for that, because I think it's important too. Like I always say, like, we're not curing cancer, we're playing football. Like, let's
Yeah.
have some fun.
Yeah. And also a lot of the male commentators, they're not big football stars either. I mean,
Right.
like and you're an athlete, right? You were an athlete.
Yes, I played tennis back at UNH. I play intramural flag football now,
Really?
which is pretty cool. Humble brag.
I didn't know they had that.
Pretty good.
That's cool.
Yeah. No, just just an athlete. That sounds like I like wish I'm like dreaming about my prime. Now I'm just like, yeah, like I go to the gym when I can.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And you have a Rams podcast, Ricky's Ram Jam?
I do, yes. Yes.
What
it's
is it?
Ricky's Ram
What is
Jam.
that? Can you give some advice to people who have podcasts, like how to build an audience and how to start?
That is the million dollar question, right?
Mhm.
Especially when everyone and their mom has a podcast now. It's hard to cut through. Same way with your social media, and it goes with, first of all, don't be afraid to start. Everyone has one, and there are people that get 0 listens. Like, why can't you send it to your friend and have a 1 listener podcast? Like, you can start whenever, wherever. It's very easy to start if you have a good idea and feel passionate about it. But also, it's kind of knowing that audience. Like, Ricky's Ram Jam is just Rams related. It's very serious. It's fun. It's not serious as in like I'm not breaking down X's and O's the whole time, and I'm getting to know like these sort of pundits and interviewers when I'm talking with them. However, it's managed by the NFL. Like, there isn't really a ton of room to go off script or have a lot of fun. So like when I'm kind of like locking into that, I think if someone was like, oh, let me check out Ricky Hollywood, like what's she about, and like clicked a Ricky's Ram Jam, like they probably wouldn't think I was funny.
Yeah, you've got like 2 personas.
Yeah. So,
but like Dave Damashek used to talk about all kinds of crap on his show. Maybe that's why he doesn't have a show at the NFL anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, no, Dave is hilarious. He's the best. I have some great memories with Dave Damashek.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
He's the best.
I love that guy. So
you should have him on your show.
Oh, I would love to have him. You got to hook me up with him. I will really enjoy that. He's also from Pittsburgh too, which my family's from Pittsburgh.
He won't let you forget it.
Oh no, he will not. Yeah, I would love to have him. I just love the sound of his voice too. It's just like,
oh my God, I know.
It's like a lullaby.
I went to Pittsburgh with him.
Yeah.
And we shot like this Heinz Field special, and it was snowing, and just like his voice like cutting through the snow when I was freezing. I was just like, Dave, shut up. Can we just go inside? Please stop talking.
He's got an opinion about something.
Like, oh my God. Yeah. And I'm like, we don't need to talk to the CVS guy outside in the snow. Like, there's no reason for this right now.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I feel like you have to bring humor to everything, don't you think? I mean, even your podcast or whatever. When I had a podcast early on called Fat Free Film, where we interviewed filmmakers. And when I go back listening to it, and I was like, this was in 2005, so we were, pioneers in the podcasting.
Yeah.
And I go back and listen to those, and we had these, great guests like Leonard Nimoy and Peter Bogdanovich, but I was so serious. I was so damn serious. And I think sometimes you gotta like let go, and just
oh my God,
have fun.
I think I let go a little too much. Like, my comedy is my coping mechanism, which is great, to the point where even in therapy yesterday, my therapist was like, Erica, you're doing it again. Like, you're making a joke about something super tragic. And I was just like, yeah, but like, it's kind of a funny point of view, isn't it?
Isn't that kind of what jokes are for sommes?
Exactly.
Lessen the tragedy of existence.
Yeah. Right. Like, what else? Like, if you can't laugh at yourself too, like, what are we doing here? Like, life is way too short to be taking yourself too seriously.
Yeah. When I was in high school, we came up with a club called the Myth Club, and our whole plan was to make fun of people who take themselves too seriously, because we wanted to break them out of that, whatever.
The tragedy of existence.
Tragedy of existence. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, we have to end the show, but I want to find out how people can find out where your shows are. How can people know where to go and how to track you?
Yeah, so if you head to my Instagram, it's just at Erica Tamposi. Ricky Hollywood was taken. It's like some French
Oh
singer,
no,
indie
somebody took your
singer.
Ricky Hollywood.
Yeah, and I've DM'd him being like, bro, like I'll throw you $100. Like, can I have but yeah, go to my Instagram. Then I have a beacon site. It's just rickyhollywood.vip. And when you click that, you can sign up on for my email list, and then I will let you know when new shows are coming. I'm hoping to get out. I've been doing LA and San Diego areas, but hoping to get on the road sooner than later for sure.
VIP.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's hope it works.
Oh, all right, we did it. Thanks to my assistant, Boney. He's very good at finding these things. Okay, so this is, you can get on the mailing list.
Yeah,
cool.
All that fun stuff.
Nice. I like that. And also your Instagram and also your podcast.
Yes.
For you Rams fans out there, or maybe
you don't need to check that one out. Really
I'm going to check that one out. What about it? Are you going to be starting any other podcasts?
Well, I used to do one. We technically still have it on the All Things Comedy Network. It's called the Broadcast Podcast.
Yes.
It's just two broads, where it's not broadcast related at all. But it's me and my friend Emma, who is actually currently a writer for Kylie Kelsey's podcast. And she works with Jason and Travis a lot too over at Wave Media. She decided to have a baby and is kind of busy.
Gosh, jeez, the nerve.
I know. So I'm and sometimes we'll text each other really funny things, and she'll be like, you know what, we should start a podcast. And I'm like, I know, because I'm begging her literally every day, to the point where she doesn't even answer my text sometimes. I'm like, hey, this is super funny. But the Broadcast Podcast is still available. We did an episode. We make a joke and say that it happens every week. We never miss a week. But they are 1 month to 6 months apart, depending on when they.
You always say that we never miss a week. That's funny.
Yeah.
When I start my show, I always tell myself, this is going to be the greatest show ever. The greatest show ever made. And, sometimes it is. Do you feel, I just want to ask one more thing. Is your stand-up persona different from you?
That's a good question. Yes. I think this confident, flirty. Oh, okay, I guess I'm kind of flirty in real life too. I think there are only a couple people that know me well enough to know my crippling anxiety and let the shame come through and embarrassment. But no, I'd say it's pretty on par with who I am. It's just very exaggerated, I guess. It's I just sort of really kind of lean into kind of blowing up that character.
I see. Yeah. I think sometimes people say it's an exaggerated version of me.
Right.
Exactly. Sometimes it's an exaggerated version of who I see myself as, even. You know what I mean? It's a chance for you to step out of yourself a little bit.
Right.
Speaking of stepping out of yourself, at the end of the show, I play.
My girlfriend's watching, and she just texted literally the exact same persona. So,
She's exactly the same. She knows
the
you
exact
well.
same persona.
She knows you very well. Sometimes we show our loved ones too much of ourselves.
Yeah. I'm like, log off. It's 12:58. Get out of here.
That's hilarious. Okay, so at the end of the show, we have a dance break where we just play somebody on the internet that's doing something unusual with a cover song, and you don't have to dance. Sometimes people dance.
I will.
Get up. Okay.
Why not?
All right. So this is a very unusual fellow. His name is Carlo Podeghi, and I think he's in Italy, and he's playing a Beatles song solo by himself with many instruments. So thank you so much for being on the show. Really, just
thanks for having me.
Honored to have you on the show. Really
God,
appreciate
it. Was amazing.
All right, here we go. Dance break. He plays that keyboard, but I think
she moves.
Look at this stick in his hand. That's awesome.
Attracts me like no other lovers. Something of the way she
feels like there's a bass, but I don't know where it is. But I think he's playing it though. Thank you, Kamala. Thanks everybody for being here today. This is Lunch Therapy every Friday at noon. And thanks everybody for being here. And thank you, Carlo. Sorry I'm talking over you. We'll see you all next week for more Lunch Therapy.